Hello, thank you for joining me. How are you all doing in these super intense energies? My God. So tomorrow's the 777 portal, and just ever since the solstice, it seems like things have, like, I can't even track anything anymore. It's like the energy feels so completely different um, right now. But the solstice shift and then the full moon shift just since Monday. And now, I mean, it just feels like, are we crowning? That's what it feels like. It feels like we're crowning. Like we've been in the birth canal, we've been doing these contractions, and now it's just that kind of crowning energy. And almost, if you've had children, that transition energy also, where you're like, never mind, we'll just both die because surely I can't do this. And then you just do. Like, this feels like the energy of you just do, like it's happening. That's what it feels like to me. And so anyway, I'm going to do some overall energies with Oracle decks. I'm actually bringing out my Goddess deck today because I just feel to do that. And I do feel a lot of goddess, divine feminine energy, the support, the nurturance, the almost like we're surrounded, like the very air, the very energy feels like there's behind, if we feel behind the intensity and we feel behind all the sort of like yang energy that's going on, there's this divine feminine yin embracing, recepting, that's like, okay, that's nurturing us, but also modeling how we get through this time. It's kind of like, here you're held, and then that can be the self-talk that we give ourselves, and also the avenue that we choose to maneuver through this, to maneuver like water, to maneuver with flow. So I'm curious what feminine goddess energy we're going to get to represent this passage right now. Let's see. Okay, here we get. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, I don't know how to say these names. I'm not going to bother with the names. Izume? I don't even know. I think she's Buddhist. I think she's a Buddhist person. She's so beautiful. Look at her. Humor. She's laughing. She's happy. She's happy and laughing. And look at all that sparkly activity in her crown center and in her heart center. Oh my God. What an encouraging message. Like, no matter what it feels like, a lot of us are going through really, really, really intense passages right now. And if it's not directly at you, it can be for a family member, someone you love, someone close for you. You might be holding space, which is also just as, can be also just as intense, as going through it yourself, although it's different, right? But holding that space and feeling all the shifts and the changes. But behind all that, whatever you're going through, this kind of feels like and looks like the message of like, this is amazing, like this is what we've waited for. Like, it doesn't matter how much our human wants to resist or feel like a victim or pathologize, or whatever it is, if that's going on. Maybe for some of you, you're actually feeling like this, just like, yes, I feel this energy and I'm so wide open for this. And those of us that are kind of doing some of that alchemizing, or some of the collective cleanup, or even the karmic or lineage cleanup. Okay, the message for us is the truth of the reality is one of this joy and this happiness. I mean, she's like ecstatic. She's ecstatic, and again, all the higher centers are lit up. So that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Does she kind of match my colors today a little bit? All right, let's see what animal card we get. This feels like a time when we need we need one on each side. Oh, golly gee, of course. The bat. A rebirth is assured. Well, there's another reassuring message and another indicator that this is kind of a death process as well. A death and a birth, Again, the crowning, the change of one life. When you have a baby, everything changes. Your whole life changes. You were here and now you're here. And it's like that's the other thing about birth. It, it kind of happens through you. But even if you're a father or, a sibling, even, the little ones, it's like your whole life has changed in a moment. It's completely changed. The energy is changed. And it's like you step through a portal into another life that you just couldn't have predicted. Like, literally, the energy of bringing a child into your family, into the world, into existence, is just absolutely transporting. What are the words? If you've experienced it, it's a birth. It's a birth of your soul. Anyway, that's the energy I'm getting from this. Obviously, you know, here's the birth and everything that I was saying about that, and kind of the elation, how it absolutely changes your world and brings you into this whole other level that you couldn't have even conceived of before, like that, all of a sudden. Okay, so that's kind of the energy right now. And look, crowning, there's the baby coming out. You know, there's the baby in that position, or that baby. Humanity's that baby, and we're doing it together. Let's not forget that, right? Okay, so I'm gonna do tarot. We'll see if my kitties are quiet. I tried to do a reading yesterday for Leo, so that's the other thing. I'm doing the astrological signs now, and I felt guided to do it, but then I did one and was like, no, I'm not good at this, and you know, and I just like was really conflicted. If you saw that video, I did a video where I was like, I'm not doing this, and anyway, I just had so much synchronicity and clear guidance and encouragement, higher self communication. So I'm doing them, and I'm realizing that what I'm doing is I'm translating the collective energies through the different elements, and then through the different expressions of the elements, whether it's a fixed water or a cardinal water, or you know, all that. So there's all these different pieces to the puzzle, but seeing how they all fit together in the whole, and how they're all these different expressions of the collective. And it's really quite an amazing experience for me to dive in like that, and because I'm learning a lot of the lessons that have been coming through for me, but also in the collective readings, if you've been watching them, the last few, is about the importance of balancing the elements at this time, balancing the elements, keeping everything in balance. I mean, always, right? But especially now. I mean, to me, that's the message I keep getting over and over and over. So here I am doing these readings for the different elements, and still same collective energy, but funneled into, you know, this way of being in the world, and this way of being. And then of course we have, you know, I notice the readings that I'm doing that match up with my kitties, with my sun, moon, and rising. And so readers will often say, oh, this applies to your sun, moon, and rising. But I'm finding that viscerally when I'm doing these readings. I'm like, wow, did I feel that one? Oh, right, that's my rising. So anyway, fun exploration. If you feel like diving into that, that's kind of why I'm doing it. I'm doing it as a merging with the elements, and with the different ways this collective energy is expressing itself through the physical form of our bodies and our world. So anyway, I was trying to do a Leo reading yesterday. I got through the first four, you know, the first quadrant or whatever of the first four signs, and my cats were just like so crazy. I have a new kitten. I know I'm rambling on and on about myself, but I'm hoping they're going to be quiet today. Here we go. Thanks for listening. Okay, yep. So the first card we get is the Seven of Earth, the Seven of Pentacles. So we're in a process. We're in a process, and we might not even like look at him. He's kind of like, you know, like, what is going on? What am I doing? He almost seems like he's in a little bit of a stupor. But, you know, again, there's all this crown activity going on. There's all this light. There's this little fairy here. Oh, that's what he's doing. He's looking at that little fairy, and she's surrounded by light too. There are all these codes around him, you know, these things that are being lit up. He's being guided, even if he doesn't know that he is. You know, it's like some part of him is still, even if he's really distracted by whatever circumstances are calling his energy and his attention, there's still some part of him that's tuned into this, that's tuned into that higher, even if he doesn't realize that he is. Our connection to our higher aspects has been so strengthened. This was coming up maybe like a month ago, where that was the message over and over again. It's like your souls are calling, they have information for you, take the time to tune in. Well, we've made that connection, we passed through that stage. And so so that connection's there. Okay, so, but the thing is like, now that we're doing these crunchy initiations, or we're supporting other people that are, or just humanity as a whole is going through this, it's like we had to get this connection in place so that we could move through this birth canal and move through this passage and this transit with a very strong established connection, because otherwise we're just going to freak out. Otherwise, you know, we're not, you know, again, we feel this energy, we feel this, we can laugh through this, you know, we can cry and scream when we need to, or hold somebody else when they are, but we know what's going on. And so this is a similar energy I'm feeling from this. He knows that connection is, and look at how, like, even if you look at this card kind of far away, it's like there's this interesting, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know. It's like, what is that? I don't know. But now what is appearing to me, it's like coming right out of his third eye. It's like this bridge. She's standing on the bridge. The connection has been made. It's absolutely been made. It's also made to his throat. It's also, there's this whole network. Our higher aspects, our guidance has been anchored into our bodies. It's not just hanging out in our auric field where we can jump out and access it if we want to. No, it's been integrated. It's with us. It's easy, and because of that, the initiations are getting harder. Okay, it was always meant to happen that way. It was always meant that we were to establish this connection for this time so that we can move through. And maybe not everybody's obviously not everybody's doing that. You know, obviously some people are here to be front runners and to be on this wave. You know, different parts of the wave, but still bringing in this new consciousness. So if you're listening to these readings and you're resonating, then obviously that's you. And so, but here we are with this connection to hold steady through our own trials and through the trials of others and through the trials of the world. So, okay, and these colors are pretty nice together too. There's a lot of that deep brown and orange and even green, you know. So again, the anchored energies, the anchored colors, you know, on the earth, we're anchored. We've brought our higher aspects down so that we can walk through these portals, walk through this time, and really change our world by walking through these codes and this access that we've created a bridge to and have integrated into our bodies. So. Okay, let me get another one from that deck. I'm going to be turning around a lot to peek at my kitties. My cats, they're becoming friends. It's only been a few days. But I'm still, you know, it's not like a regular thing yet because it's brand new. Okay. Boudica. All right, here's quite a few cards, but I feel to take them all. So we get 5 of Fire, 10 of Cups, the Magician, 4 of Wands, and 3 of Wands. Okay, so I feel like this is like one big passage here, okay? This is the energy we're kind of sitting in right now, right? 5 of Wands. It feels like conflict. It's not necessarily inner conflict, it's outer conflict. There's a lot of variance in our field right now. There's conflict going on perhaps in our families, in our communities, you know, a lot of pieces that seem to be kind of falling apart, right? I mean, they're falling together, and because we have this bridge, and because we feel this energy, we know that it's good and it's necessary. But the overall energy can feel kind of janky, you know. It can feel a little jarring and uncomfortable, and we're kind of just sitting there, and we're like, okay, I'm in an initiation. I'm holding space for an initiation. Humanity's going through this, and it can feel uncomfortable, but we have our wings. We're sitting. It's the watercolors. You know, the colors are kind of dripping. They don't really necessarily feel harmonious, but we're holding steady. We're holding steady through this. But okay, so that's that card. But what it comes out with are these gorgeous, amazing cards. I don't have quite enough hands, but the last one is this, okay? So here we have, you know, this is the 10 of Cups. You know, this is like, look at how happy he is. This is a Buddha. He's got his pearls. He's sitting on his throne. He's happy. He's like her, look. And she's a Buddhist goddess as well. So look at them. They're freaking happy. They're like, you guys, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. And then there's the Magician. You know, here's whatever it is in these crunchy situations that are rebirthing us. It's alchemy and it's magic. And I'm getting chills. And it's fully supported. It's fully supported by the higher energies that are coming in, the goddess energy, the mother energy, like I was saying, that's just kind of surrounding us. It's like no matter what you're going through, you're held, you're safe. This is all, you know, this is all for you, by you, for us, for all of us to come home to the truth of reality, to the oneness. This is the big shift. This is the death and rebirth, and we're really happy because we waited a long time for this. You know, we've gone a lifetime after a lifetime of like maybe a lot of lifetimes, of course, right? In the darker ages, this is all we had. All we had was this. this would come out with a bunch of other like cards, you know, here you are, you come in and then you die, you know, and we do that over and over again, and we build our, you know, we build our repertoire of codes in our field. But here in this time, we can feel this energy, and we might even link up viscerally with past lives, or maybe even earlier lives in this life, you know, where we had this kind of energy, but we just weren't as awake. We were unconscious, and so, you know, we didn't get through it, or we got through it, of course, because our souls carry on. But, you know, maybe we didn't come through with mastery. It was just more chaos and more karma. But where we're at now, this exact same energy is coming out. Yeah, is coming out just with, again, that goddess energy. That's like, you know, what the truth of reality is, oneness and love, and that this is all for you, and the nurturing. Okay, so, and we're doing this alchemy very similar. Look at the codes. Look at the codes around his head. Look at the codes around her head. This is what we carry with us. Why? Because, well, we've been at this for lifetimes. We've been at this for a really long time, and we activated all these things through everything that we did in preparation for this time right now. We've recently, over the years, but particularly the last weeks and months, established and created this bridge to our higher aspects, to these codes. We have them with us, okay? So we're doing, you know, we're going through the passage, we're going through the birth canal, we're birthing this, we're landing this, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's what we've waited for. And this, like, think of this as like our higher aspects. They're so happy. They're like, guys, don't be sad. Don't be worried. Like, first of all, you created this. You chose all of this. This is what we've been doing. Remember the plan. You know, like, don't fall for the appearance. Don't fall for the, you know, the human perspective. Like, remember this. We're here. We're all around you. The truth is all around you. Okay, so the next card is Four of Wands. And this is a card of union. I'm reading this as like the oneness card, the unity consciousness card. So this is just another part of that, the truth of that energy, the truth of this happy energy. This is the field, you know. This is the Christ consciousness. This is where we actually are. Okay, that's the heaven on earth. That's the higher timeline. That's the paradise energy. This is all around us. We can tune into it at any time because we've created that. Okay, and then the next card is the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands being, for me, this is like hawk energy. And hawk for me is always, whenever I see a hawk, it's like you're on the right path. You're on the right path. Everything's right on track. It's connected to me with the number 133. I always feel that way about 133 as well. So this card as well, you're on the right path, and it's a guidance card too. Actually, in the Zen Tarot, the name of the card is guidance, so that kind of matches up with how I feel about this card. It's like you're on the right track, and you're guided. You have that hawk messages all around you. Is the synchronicity. You know, you're going through something. You have a little nervousness. You look at the clock. It's 4:44. You know, it's a reassurance of like, honey, remember the truth. Remember the truth. Remember what you're doing. Remember why you came here, and sail through this passage, sail through this crowning, because a rebirth is assured. A rebirth is absolutely assured. What else was I going to say about this card? I don't know. It's gone. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to pull a few more from the other deck, my Tarot of the Hidden Realm. Okay. So we get the Nine of Wands. So, I mean, look at him. That's a phoenix. He's rising. He's rising out of the ashes. He's a phoenix. So he's, you know, in a lot of decks, the Nine of Wands is like you're persevering through, you know, this kind of energy. But the thing is, what's beautiful in this moment, it matches so perfectly, is like in my other deck, she's in a cave and she has these stars and she's looking at the stars and she's coming out of the cave. But he's already a phoenix. He's already risen. He's rising out. Not only is he risen as a phoenix, but his human body is rising out of the phoenix. So he's done like a double rise. So this isn't the energy of, well, it is the energy, because that's the energy of the card, of like you're still in the tunnel. But at the same time, it's like, yes, and you're already a phoenix. So it doesn't feel the same as when you were in the tunnel before. We can be going through some of the most crunchiest initiations we've ever experienced. Partially why they feel so crunchy is because we're just so dang awake. I mean, it's kind of, this is a world of paradox, right? It's like when you're unconscious, you know, the trials are actually in a way harder because you don't have any kind of connection, you don't have any, kind of like higher perspective. So they're harder, but on the other hand, they're easier because you can just blame other people and you can just act out and you don't even know that you're creating it and that you have to be responsible. So, in some ways it's easier. So when you're going through these really crunchy times and you have this like full presence and level of awareness, it's just, it's like, gosh, it reminds me of in the book, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, where like, you're sitting on that needle. I don't know if this is actually in there. I remember reading this when I was like, I remember laying on the floor by this window, this glass window door, in my parents' house. I must have been like 19 or something, and I read this book. And so I don't know if it's actually in it or I read that text, but it was or if this is what I imagine, but it was a blue pin, like when my mom used to sew, so there were always little pins around, so this blue pin, and balancing on that pin, just balancing on that pin and staying absolutely steady. And so that's kind of the chills. That's kind of the energy of this, where it's like you're in this trial, but you're not allowed to blame, you're not allowed to freak out. You can, of course, you can, and we do, but still probably, but it's like you're so awakened now that it's almost like you can't, like, even if you're like really exhausted and you haven't had any sleep and you've been just in misery with whatever this passage is, and you see yourself acting out because your human self hasn't had enough food or rest or whatever it is. And so you're acting out, but behind that, you're kind of like, oh, what are you doing? Your other self is like, oh, this is exactly the way it needs to be. But you're like, why am I doing this? Can't really stop myself. But it's different when you literally just believe that this is the only reality and that you're a victim and, everything's horrible. But there's no way we could handle the level of initiations that some of us are going through right now if we didn't have this connection, and if this kind of energy, this kind of stuff wasn't like integrated, if we weren't like swimming in this, again, swimming in the goddess energy around us, because that's literally what's coming through in the frequencies coming from our sun and our cosmos. Tomorrow's a Sirius alignment, so gosh, if there's any other divine feminine energy, for me, that is the divine feminine energy, Sirius. Oh my God. And so we're literally swimming in it all around, but nothing is really outside of us. It's all a reflection of us. So it's just a match to what we've done inside of ourselves, because we've been at this for so long. It makes me want to weep. We've done so much work, and it's like, if we just pause for a moment, and even if we're in the midst of one of these, pause for a moment and be like, my God, look at how far we've come. Look at who we are now, and look at what we're doing, and look at what we're able to handle. And again, it's like a rebirth is assured. It's just assured. So there's no, we can be in this energy, but we're just not, we're just not. More of us is over here. It's like the scales have tipped, and our higher consciousness wins. Love wins. It's dominating. It's dominating in enough of us that it's the dominant frequency, and it's starting to trickle out into the world. And through situations like this, but it doesn't matter, because it's like we're the web holders. We're holding this web of truth. We're holding it for our families. We're holding it for ourselves. We're holding it for the world. We are the phoenix. We've already burnt to a crisp, and we've already risen more than once. How long did I talk for? 23 minutes. I might just wrap it up there. All right, I'm gonna pull one more card. I think I'm gonna go on the bottom of the deck on this one. Oh, yeah, we get the Lovers. So beautiful. So for me, these days, this is the higher octave of this card. So if this is the Unity Consciousness card that Heaven on Earth, this is, even though this imagery kind of captures it a little bit better, but this is even more so. But look, they're in the garden. They're in the garden. And there's, there's kind of like the elements again, too. It kind of feels like the elements. Like, here's Earth. He's kind of like an Earth being. And this kind of feels like roots, but it also kind of feels like fire. And then she has her her flowers, which kind of feel like air, and they're in this embrace, this unity, this union. So anyway, what a freaking gorgeous. Of course, the Lovers is everyone's favorite card, right? Maybe not, but it's like that union with self, that union with other, that union with the all the others. Again, Unity Consciousness, union. This is what we're ending on. So if you're going through a hard time, or you're watching somebody else going through a hard time, and you feel like you're literally coming apart at the seams, you know, just yeah, it's like, let's just tune in together to this energy that's the truth. That's the truth. And again, a rebirth is assured. This ultimate happiness, this is, you know, I'll often say that the sun is the happiest card in the deck, but this to me is like, okay, there it is again, the lower octave of the happiest card in the deck, you know, and we get that Buddha mind. It just embraces it all, and comes home to love, to the truth of reality. So that's a pretty beautiful message. I do kind of feel like I want to pull one more. I'm going to go in the bottom of this deck too. I'm just not ready to be done yet because I'm enjoying this. So we get the Hierophant. Okay, so the Hierophant for me, I know it's read in different ways, but for me, especially in this deck, it's like your soul contract or divine order, or even the cosmic order, the divine plan. That's what it is for me, where it's like we've already signed this contract. We've already, you know, committed to it. There are rings. I don't know if you can see them there. I don't even know where they are. There are rings somewhere on this table. Yeah, they're over here. Okay, so here's the rings. It's like you've already married the soul path. You've already said yes to awakening. You've already said yes a long time ago when you were going through all this process, you know, this process of all these lifetimes of preparation, and now we're finally here. We're birthing, we're in the birth canal, and, you know, I mean, time is relative, right? So finally here, like, are we going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be heaven on earth? No, but that's the energy. We're in this new energy because, again, the scales have tipped, and this is the frequency. Whereas before, you know, what was all around us in the energy field was this. It was dense. So the only way we could tap into this was to, you know, kind of like go out of body or do some kind of shamanic thing, or, you know, have hypnosis or whatever. But now it's literally, again, it's literally all around us, and it's literally right in us because we made this connection. And so anyway, we said yes to this journey, this long journey a long time ago. You know, we've forgotten, but that doesn't negate the fact that we signed this agreement, and not in like an agreement that we're now like, okay, I revoke my consent, I did that when I was unconscious. No, this is like the original blueprint, the original soul blueprint, those of us that came to pave the way, to carve the way. And it's also the original soul blueprint of humanity, because this is written and we're building it together. And again, we're all building it in our own ways, in our own timing. But we're doing this, and we're doing it together. So, all right. Well, I guess I'll end there. That was almost a half hour, y'all. And thank you so much for joining with me today. It feels really good. You know, even though I'm just talking to my camera right now, it's like I just feel consciousness together, and that's what, you know, that's the truth of reality. We might feel really alone in our journeys or in our process, but we're not. We're together. And so thank you for joining in consciousness with me today on the eve of the 777 portal. So let's see where we're at on the other side. I'm going to keep doing the astrological readings and the collective readings when the energy calls for a powwow of all of us. So thank you for being here and for all that you are. Okay, much love. Bye bye.